I want to say one thing at the top. We have grave concerns with the passage of the Anti-Homosexuality Act, AHA, by the Parliament of Uganda yesterday, and increasing violence targeting LGBTQI+ persons. If the AHA is signed into law and enacted, it would impinge upon universal human rights, jeopardize progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS, deter tourism, and invest in Uganda and damage Uganda's international reputation. The bill is one of the most extreme anti-LGBTQI+ laws in the world. Human rights are universal. No one should be attacked, imprisoned, or killed simply because of who they are or whom they love. Announced a new fund, the Women in the Digital Economy Fund, alongside Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which will help close the global digital gender divide. Our hearts go out to the trans community as they are under attack right now. As the president is using the tools that have been presented to him that he's able to use from the executive level without the help of Congress, Republicans in Congress who have gotten in the way and are not helped at all to deal with this issue. The program that he's put forth, we see them working. The data shows that. How many more children have to be murdered before Republicans in Congress will step up and act to pass the assault weapons ban, to close loopholes in our background check system, or to require the safe storage of guns? We need to do something. Once again, the president calls on Congress to do something before another child is senselessly killed in a preventable act of gun violence. Again, we need to do something. The president has also made clear he will veto H.R. 1, another bill that House Republicans have put forward to drive energy costs up for middle-class families, pad the pockets of big oil companies, and endanger the health and safety of all Americans.
The last presidential campaign, one of the Democratic contenders said that what he would do is come for AR-15s. Does the president support not just banning the sale and manufacture of semi-automatic weapons, but further than that, confiscation?
Let me just be very clear. What we're talking about, AR-15s, these assault weapons ban, they are weapons of war, and they should not be on the streets across the country, in our communities. They should not be in schools. They should not be in grocery stores. They should not be in churches. That's what the president believes.
What I will say to Republicans in Congress is, what are you going to say to these parents? What are you going to say to these families?
House Oversight says they've got bank records showing a Chinese energy company paying 3 Biden family members through a third party. What were they paid for?
Look, I'm just not going to respond to that from here. Look, we have heard from House Republicans for years and years and years how the inaccuracies and lies when it comes to this issue. And I don't even know where to begin to even answer that question, because again, it's been lies and lies and inaccuracy for the past couple of years, and I'm just not going to get into it from here.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, back by unpopular demand. It's John and Ben. It's Chasing Dissent. It's Friday night. From Prison Island, Britain. It's All In!
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Oh! Oh!
There you
Oh.
go.
Oh!
Hello, stranger. How are you?
Oh!
Scooch over to your right.
You want me to come over like this?
Yeah. That's it. That's good.
Is that better? Am I in frame now?
Yeah, you're better in frame now. Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you didn't actually frame this up before we started. That's what you're trying to tell me.
No, we were too busy singing and pumping ourselves up for the pre-show. If you pardon the
Jesus
expression.
Christ. Cannot get the staff here, guys. You just can't. You just can't. You go away for 5 days. You go away for 5 days. He's making circles in frames, and he's doing shows about Jack the Ripper with Eduardo the Technology Man.
It was a good show. It was.
I hear it was.
I really enjoyed it.
I hear it was. And I come back. So I've barely been using Twitter this week. I've basically been browsing it. I've commented occasionally. I've been heavier on it today. But for some reason, Trudy keeps asking for a fucking Easter egg. What's going on there, John?
I don't know, mate. Maybe she's broody. What's to sit on it?
People in the chat are saying they love you. They loved your rabbit hole show. So Eduardo the Technology Man is a hit.
It was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. I didn't add much, but I think I added salient points and laughter at the right time.
So a big shout out to you there, Eduardo the Technology Man. Thank you indeed. If you don't change your Twitter handle now to Eduardo the Technology Man, I'm actually going to be upset because I I like that name.
Eduardo the Technology Boffin.
Le
Boffin
Technology
the
Man.
Technologies.
Oh, Trudy says nobody gets her an Easter egg.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Suzanne says interesting and thought-provoking, which will I guess is last night's show. And Vaughan says hello there, and I will reiterate, I will retaliate to you, Vaughan, by saying 11 p.m. You know where to be. Or just after 11, because I've got to go in the house, but you know where to be. He's just showing off his boobies. Just there we go.
No. Yeah, I put weight on. I'm going to have to lose this. Ben and I were just talking about this before we ran the VT.
He started telling me how beautiful I was.
Yeah, Ben looks good for it. Ben's been away for 5 days on all-you-can-eat buffets and looks good for it. I, on the other hand, have been pining for the fjords. And look at the fucking state of me.
I'll tell you why it is, John, because all I ate was meat.
Yeah, that's the secret, mate. Carnivore diet. Diet.
I've been on it for 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm not dead.
You're not wrong. Carnivore diet and none of this shit. No, not sponsored, but happy to accept the remuneration from you. What breweries sold Speckleton?
Yeah, but these guys should sponsor me, for God's sake, right? I know it's poison. I know it's poison.
Yeah, I don't. Those guys really. Those guys should sponsor you. To be fair, in fact, they should. You should be driving about in a Red Bull car.
By the time I've finished the Red Bull that I have here for this evening, I will have consumed over 2 liters of Red Bull today.
That's just
they should be paying me. I'm telling you, they should be paying me. And that's the only reason I'm tubby is them fucking fizzy drinks.
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to give a big shout out to the boys that are all back together. So John and Ben's back together, right? Tight Brothers are back together.
Reunited and it feels so good. So yes, breaking news in the last hour.
Yeah, case is crumbling, isn't it, mate?
Well, I would say so. The Tate brothers appear to have been released from custody and will be serving out the rest of their detention, quote unquote, under house arrest. But still, since being arrested in December, I might add, they've not been charged with anything.
Yeah, so we have to bear in mind this is an investigative detention, right? So this doesn't mean they've done anything wrong.
No.
And I'm not saying they haven't done anything wrong. What I'm saying is, until they've been proven guilty of something and or charged, you've got to give them a break. And they shouldn't have been incarcerated for the amount of time they have been.
They shouldn't have been incarcerated really at all if there's not even a charge, right?
Bring them in, process them, put them back out. That would have been it. That should have been it. But
yeah,
what they've done is a travesty. It's not justice. But then again, what kind of justice are you going to get in the world when the leader of the free world, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or ex-Speaker of the House, right, says that Trump has to prove his innocence? No, he fucking doesn't.
Nope. Nope.
That's not how
the legal system works. Nancy, yeah, but you got to remember, right? Poor Nancy, insider trader Pelosi, as I like to call her, right? She may be as crooked as a well, you imagine what she's as crooked as, but she is also senile and probably riddled with dementia.
Yeah, syphilis.
And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to take the piss. I'm saying that because she's the Speaker of the House. She's third in line for the presidency right now, and she's saying that an ex-leader of the free world must prove his innocence. Now, there's been 34.
Let's actually talk about this to start with. Let's talk about Stormy, right? Storming a D cup, if you will.
Stormy Daniels.
How can he even be indicted? To me, this seems to have gone beyond the reach of law already, because as far as I was aware, the statute of limitations in New York City was 6 years.
Well, first of all, an indictment doesn't actually mean anything. It's simply an accusation, right?
Yeah, I know, but why is an accusation being levelled when the charges apply to something that happened more than 6 years ago in the state of New York?
But still, that's completely, I think that's completely moot. And I'll tell you why. And by the way, people, I'm no huge fan of Donald Trump. I just sort of, I just sort of understand what's going on here, right?
I'm a huge fan of his money. I'd love some of it.
Oh, I'd love some of his
If you want to
money.
boost
Don't you
an
worry about
ailing
that.
startup, Donald, sling some our way.
He'll start wearing MAGA hats. He'll do it.
Mm-hmm. I would do it, Don.
But the thing is, these indictments, they're completely meaningless, and it all seems to be, because none of them have been released. They're still sealed indictments, so nobody actually knows what he's been indicted for.
Yeah.
It seems to be involved with these so-called payments to Stormy Daniels that were made by Michael Cohen, right?
Who wasn't paid by Donald.
No.
So he didn't pay Stormy, he didn't pay Michael Cohen. So how's he even involved?
But this is why I say the statute of limitations is moot, because these allegations were looked at the federal level, right, by the FBI and other agencies.
Yeah.
And they concluded that nothing had gone wrong, nothing had been done wrong, and there was nothing to prosecute. Now this Alvin Bragg, I think his name is.
He's just trying to make a name for himself, isn't he?
He got himself elected on the platform of fuck Trump. That was his, you know,
right.
That's how he got himself into the position.
Let me throw something in the mix here.
Go on in.
Okay? And you may laugh at me and mock me for this, but I'm prepared to
I do that often.
Yeah, I'm prepared to take it. Is Trump behind the charges?
What, you mean to get himself elected again? Because we all know that all this is going to do is get him elected.
Well, yeah. It would be a master strategy if he was masterminding this from behind the scenes. If he was the puppet master. I mean, you'll never find out, but is it possible that he's behind it all?
I'm going to be completely honest with you, right? I don't think Donald Trump is as smart as people give him credit for. He's a smart man, right? But I don't think he's as smart as people give him credit for.
Well, he might not be that smart, but I think the people he surrounds himself with are.
Yes, I agree.
And I think, you know, maybe deals have been done in the background.
Have you seen the tweet from Governor Ron?
Oh, what's Ron saying? No.
So Governor Ron, obviously Trump lives in Florida.
Yeah, he does,
right?
yeah.
Right, let me, instead of paraphrasing it, I will read you Ron DeSantis' response to this word for word. He put it on Twitter. I'm just going to read it to you. It says, show more. The weaponization of the legal system to advance a political agenda turns the rule of law on its head. It is un-American. The Soros-backed Manhattan District Attorney has consistently bent the law to downgrade felonies and to excuse criminal misconduct. Yet now he is stretching the law to target a political opponent. Mm-hmm. Florida will not assist in an extradition request given the questionable circumstances at issue with this Soros-backed Manhattan prosecutor and his political agenda.
Well, you have to remember that the United States of America isn't really a country, is it?
No, it's 52 different countries.
Yeah, it's a federal republic of states. Yeah. And while the federal government has some say over the all-encompassing natures of states, such as defense and things like that, the states pretty much run themselves.
Yeah, they've all got their own governments.
In fact, there has been a lot of talk, especially maybe 10 years or so ago, of Texas succeeding, you know, coming out of it altogether and becoming
California as well. Yeah. California if California did secede from the United States, it would be a failed state immediately. I mean, it's kind of a failed state now, isn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's somewhere I
think
want to
there's-
visit, but then only in the tourist parts.
Yeah. There's no chance Trump's going to jail, none whatsoever.
No, and,
not gonna
like
happen.
Governor Ron here is saying he's not going to assist at all in an extradition, meaning they're not going to get him out of Florida, are they?
Well, unless he goes willingly. It was up to, I mean, he might see if he goes willingly. I think that puts more weight behind my theory.
Well,
if he goes up to New York to get processed, to get photographed, to get fingerprinted, to be paraded as a potential felon, right? Then I think that puts a lot behind my theory. I think this could be a Trump strategy.
correct me if I am wrong, but all former presidents retain some level of Secret Service detail for life.
I think so, yes.
So, obviously, this Secret Service detail is the group of people that are going to be coordinating anything to do with this and coordinating anything to do with its movements.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think they'll allow a perp walk. I don't think they'll allow the cuffs on him. I don't think they'll allow any of that.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think
let's see
he'll
what
be...
happens. This could be quite entertaining. But I don't think there is any chance of Trump getting arrested. Being arrested proper. There's no chance of him being convicted, and there is no chance of him going to jail.
The political
DA,
commentator.
I don't know what this DA is trying to do. I really don't.
Well, I know exactly what he's trying to do. Come on, he wants to be the guy that gets Trump.
But that's fine if you've got a case. But I mean, the guy can't be stupid if he's a DA, right?
Right.
So what's he going to take him to court on? Because, I mean, Stormy Daniels says she didn't sleep with him.
Oh, now she's saying she did again.
But she signed an affidavit to say she didn't.
I know.
So that's...
But now
one of them's perjury. So she's fucked either way. Literally. She should be going to jail now because she either did sleep with him and lied on oath, right? Or she didn't sleep with him and is now lying. So either way, she's fucked.
But either way, she has done very well off of all of this, hasn't she? She is, she's got her porn career right where she wants it, right off the ground. And she is, oh God, she's terrible. She's just awful.
I've never seen her work.
I can't say I've seen her work, but she sells like hashtag Team Stormy merch and stuff like that.
Grief.
She's just,
I bet it's not as good as hashtag Chasing Dissent merch.
ChasingDissent.com/shop. That is ChasingDissent.com/shop. You can get a t-shirt that's got in big letters, well down it, just to celebrate me. You can get a mug with both of our faces on it. You can get a set of ladies' pajamas with John's face. I mean...
And the words, no.
No. What more
Not
could
tonight,
you possibly
Henry.
want? What more could you possibly want? But no, Stormy Daniels is just awful.
Well, Harold's asking, why does it matter who she slept with? It doesn't matter who she slept with, Harold. What matters is if he used business money to pay her off, i.e. to pay her hush money, because then that's inappropriate, or that's improper use of business funds. And that...
Or campaign funds.
Yeah, or campaign funds. And that is... a criminal offence. So that's
like
what we're talking about.
But this was looked at a federal level, and they said no improprieties had occurred. And I would say that's a higher level than Alvin Bragg, the district attorney of New York.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what this DA is trying to prove, because he's going to make himself look like an arse.
Yes, he is. Now, Adam's asking, is there a dwarf plushie available? And I've just had a thought, John. We could make one, right? We could design a dwarf plushie that's got your head on it.
Why would you do that?
Because then it kills two birds with one stone. We're selling merch, and you finally get a dwarf.
Yeah, but I need a real dwarf. I need a live, talking, moving action dwarf that we can
Oh,
throw
Jesus
against
Christ.
Velcro walls and things like that.
No, Jesus Christ.
All the top YouTubers have a dwarf. I mean, okay, I'm maybe trying to run before we can walk. I know it may come in time. I mean, I was looking at something today, and there was a guy saying it took him 2 years before he even got monetized. And we're pretty much on that. We're pretty much actually on target to be monetized before the 2 year mark, aren't we?
Hopefully.
Yeah. So it took him 2 years to get monetized, and it took him 4 years before he started making real money. So with that in mind, we don't get anything from YouTube. We don't get anything from Rumble.
Nothing.
Well, we do. We get like 10 cents from Rumble.
We've made 30 cents over the course of our Rumble channel.
Right, sorry, 30 cents. I underestimated our income by by 300%. But
You did. You did.
yeah, but we don't earn anything from if you see any adverts on any of the platforms that we're on, we're getting nothing. We're making money for them, but we're getting nothing back from them. So the only thing that we get is anything that you directly contribute to us. And we got a contribution today, Ben. I haven't checked it out yet. Yeah, but I got a notification through that we had a coffee support. So I shall inform you of that after the show.
Oh, well, whoever that was.
And whoever it was,
very,
thank
very
you.
much.
Now, should you wish to do it publicly, if you go to the site on the screen and do it while we are on air, the klaxon goes off, and any message that you've put in will get read out
By a robot.
by a robot.
It will literally drown us out, and it will say, from whoever. And then you can put a message. You like, Ben, you're an asshole, or John, stop drinking too much, or something like that.
Drink
right?
more.
We're all concerned. We're all concerned for you, John. Don't worry.
Why are you
Right?
concerned for me?
What I think we all need to do is we need to chip in, right, and we need to send him to a detox or a rehab or
I don't
something.
need a detox or rehab, mate. I only drink once or twice a week.
Well, Teresa has just put a coffee emoji in the chat, so perhaps it was her.
Might have been.
Maybe.
Nice.
But whoever it was, honestly, thank you. We really do appreciate it. We do this
We really
little
do,
show.
yeah.
We do this little show once a week. We do our other show twice a week, and now Thursday nights are a regular slot. Now they're not always going to be down the rabbit hole. I will not always appear on a Thursday show. John will not always appear on a Thursday show. We will work out what they are week by week. But I can tell you, John, tell them what next Thursday is bringing.
Next Thursday is bringing a lovely lady, Suzanne Seddon, to us.
Yes.
And we shall discuss the news with Suzanne.
We shall. And obviously we'll get to know Suzanne a little bit better than just talking on Twitters and in the chat here, and we'll get her opinion on things. It's kind of toying with the name, maybe Ladies' Night or something like that. We haven't decided yet.
It was indeed the lovely Lady Teresa from Malmo, I believe, live from Malmo as we speak.
I tell you what, Teresa.
Thank you very much, Teresa.
Thank you very much. And in sort of September, October time, I'm eyeing up going to Gothenburg in Sweden, right? Just for a couple of days.
Yeah.
I just want to go to Gothenburg. And so if anybody, our one Swedish viewer, would be welcome to join me in Gothenburg.
Why you want to go to Gothenburg?
I want to ride some roller coasters, John.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I might go to Stockholm as well, because there's a little theme park called Gruna Lund that's out on an island in the middle of a lake, and it's kind of, you know me, I'm an adrenaline junkie, so
yeah, get your other channel to fund it.
From all the klaxon needs to be loudly powerful back five.
I don't think it does.
Where I want to go.
I don't think the klaxon needs to be louder. I think that was quite sufficient, was it not?
I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear it?
Well, no, because I don't have your audio, John, so I don't have to be annoyed.
No, well, the klaxon just about blew my ears off.
Well, thank you, Vaughn.
Thank you,
I did see
Vaughn. Well,
I did see it pop up.
Luke says, when are you getting John Bull on for a chat?
He's on a jolly at the moment, isn't
Well,
he?
that was the third group of boys I was going to give a shout out to because they're on tour as well. They're all back together.
Lads on tour!
The grifters. The grifters in Gibraltar.
Now, people have had a go at me for taking the stance that I am on that particular group of people. But I think I need a minute to explain my position, right? Now, Mr. Former Bit Part Actor, as I like to call him on Twitter, I know you can have a go at me for saying this, but I'm going to say it. He's not a doctor. He's not a scientist. He's absolutely no idea what he is talking about when it comes to medical issues. And yeah, granted, you don't have to be a doctor or a scientist to have an opinion. However, what gets me is, and this is what really gets me, is that people look to people like Mr. Former Bit Part Actor because they saw him in a show once, right? And they think because you were once on TV, you must be an authority on something. And that's the only reason Mr. Former Bit Part Actor has the traction that he has, because he was once in a soap.
That's true.
It feels like a cult of personality. And we have to address the fake charity. And I'm gonna use that term, I think, correctly. Because they called it a charity, they raised money for it under the auspices of being a charity. It had charity in the fucking name, and yet the Charity Commission have finally rejected them, I might add, but they hadn't even applied to the Charity Commission. And as far as we are aware, and someone can correct me if I am wrong, but raising money for a charity that does not exist is illegal.
Well, my interpretation of the law, which I have studied in the past, believe it or not, and won awards for my studies. So my interpretation of the law as written was that it is illegal to raise money under the auspices of starting a charity as that charity, because the charity does not exist. Therefore, if you wish to raise money to start a charity, you can't raise it under the name of the charity that you want to start, which sounds pretty sensible, right?
Yeah.
You know, really, in real terms, you could say to people, look, I want to start a charity, and if you want to donate, you would donate to me personally, not to the charity, right?
And also, Trudy makes a bloody good point here. She makes a bloody good point. It's the whole big reveal thing.
Oh, God.
And this is why the second we knew, long before he revealed what he was doing last time, the second we knew, we put it straight out. Mm-hmm. Right?
Well,
No
one of the
messing about.
things is, one of the reasons we did that is because, and it might sound that we weren't trying to steal his thunder. What we were trying to do is stop him getting into bother, because people get arrested for this kind of thing and they get put in jail for fraud. Because remember, he's raised £13,000 to start that charity, and nobody knows where the fucking money is.
He did not spend it all on I'm sorry, he didn't spend it all on a phone line.
No,
he didn't.
No, because everybody that answered the phone line was a volunteer.
Everyone that answered the phone line was a volunteer, and under this charity, from what I understand, and once again, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but what they were actually doing was just sending people to paid-for alternative medicine. And so, if that is the case...
I'm sorry, I'm just... Adam's comment.
What, Greek villa?
Greek villa. Yeah, 13 grand's not... You get a house in Sweden for 13 grand, but I don't think you'd get a villa in Greece for 13, would you?
You know, at the end of the day, I feel like I need to say that the aims that Bo was purporting with his charity are noble.
Yes, right? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, when we called him out on it, we did nothing but he got shot down, especially by the fucking Freds, right? Who were jumping to his defence without knowing what the fuck they were talking about. That's the thing that pisses me off. The amount of people that jump in there without doing any research, without doing basic basic checking. I mean, look at the fucking thing that's been around for the last 3 or 4 days. Electric car blows up, right? One, it wasn't an electric car, right? It was an LPG car that was getting filled, and the gas tank blew, and the guy that got hit with the gas tank died. So it's a really fucking good giggle, isn't it? You know? And everybody goes, oh, electric car blows up. No, not electric car. Fuck all to do with electric cars. Another piece of misinformation that does us, when I say us, independent media, no use whatsoever.
No.
Because if you're going to be independent, you've still got to get it right, because the mainstream media don't get it right. So if you don't get it right, you're just as bad.
But also going back to this whole quote unquote big reveal shit, right?
I don't know what the fuck Harold's talking about. I never mentioned you.
Right? But we've got some big news. We've got some big news. Don't worry. Just give us some likes and retweets. We've got some big news coming later. If we had something that was extremely important and people needed to know, and we thought it would actually change the political landscape, like these guys claim this news is going to, we wouldn't be asking people, oh, big news coming. We'd put it on video and we'd reveal it.
Well, we've done it. We've done that before.
Not only have we done that
when
before.
the shooter broke, remember the shooting?
Yep.
We did it live because it was coming on live, and we went on live and did it. We did 3 or 4 updates that night, straight from the desk, basically straight out.
But it's not just that, right? It's not just that. When we were looking into what was it? Was it just Stop Oil? One of these shitty groups. No, the Don't Pay UK. When we were looking into the Don't Pay UK group, we did about 4 weeks of intense work behind the scenes on Don't Pay UK.
Yeah.
But we didn't sit there tweeting out every day, we've got this coming or something big. The second we had everything collated, we put it into a video and we put it out.
And yes, we did. And before that, we were saying, there's something fishy about this mob, don't trust them. Don't do it. We said, do not do the don't pay your direct debit thing. You know, make an arrangement with the electric company by all means, right? But don't just stop paying your direct debit, because you were going to get people into financial problems, right? And it's fine for me. I've not got any money, right? So if I don't pay anything, it doesn't matter, because you can't take money off someone who doesn't have any money. So I'm one of the few people that exists out with the law. So you've either got to be really, really poor or really, really rich.
So I'm going to go to a...
You can do what you like.
I'm going to go to a comment from Rumble. We've got Nom Sensei, who says, because many independents, in quotation marks, are simply getting with sales products and sponsors, so they sensationalize things for clicks.
Yeah, they do.
And they do. They do, right? We're not saying we would never take a sponsorship, but what I am saying is nobody would have any kind of editorial control over the way that we do things.
No.
Right? We do things the way we do things. We talk straight. We swear. Yeah. We give opinion. People don't agree with our opinion sometimes. Yeah. But I don't like this whole, we've got big news. We've got big news. Because, at the end of the day, the people tweeting this are a former bit part actor from Coronation Street. Yeah? A former backing singer in UB40. And these people have got the big news that's going to change the medical landscape. I'm sorry, but I just don't believe it. And the only reason they've been put into these positions is because of who they are and what they've been. Otherwise, they're just the same as you and me.
Well, they are. In fact, they're probably even worse, because they're actually playing pretend for a living, most of them. Yeah,
they're actors, they play pretend for a living, but at the same time, they don't, I'm sorry, but they're not like, people follow them, worship them like they are doing something. Most of these people
that's just what people do, though. People like to be led. The majority of people don't want to have to think for themselves. They don't want to have to make decisions. It's like somebody tweeted something earlier on about, good job, Conservative Party. You took us out.
Suzanne's correct.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I do say that. But but somebody tweeted, good job, Conservative Party, you took us out of the European Union, and then you joined another trading bloc without our consent or without a referendum. Hold on a minute. Making trade deals isn't necessarily joining a trading bloc. And regardless of that, that's the democracy that you fucking live in. You elect someone to go to represent you, right? To make the decisions on your behalf because you're too fucking lazy to make them yourself. That's basically what it's down to. That's what it's down to. You can't be bothered making those decisions themselves, right? You don't want to be involved in running the country, so you elect someone and you let them off, and then you moan about the fucking decisions they make. So, you know what? If you don't like it, you have to change the system, not the party.
Absolutely. And do you know what? There are people that I consider friends who really hate my opinion on this situation that we've been talking about, right? They really like these people. And I understand where they're coming from, because it is a cult personality at the end of the day. Am I saying that there's someone else you can follow to get your leadership from? The answer is no. What we are trying to tell you is don't follow anybody. Like Suzanne says, there is no savior. Nobody's coming to save you. What you need to do when it comes to any situation is you need to look at multiple sources of information and come to your own goddamn conclusion. You don't have to agree with our opinion. Our opinion does not have to be your opinion, and we're not telling you to think as we think. We're telling you to think for yourselves. We're trying to give you the tools to just think for yourself. You can call us Dax, as John would say in his Scottish accent. You can call us whatever you want, but all we want you to do is think for your goddamn selves. Don't look to these so-called, these golden gooses. Don't look to these false prophets and idols. They're not going to save you. The only person that can do that from any situation is you.
So I think it's YouTube that has the issue, because we've dropped 0 frames.
Right.
So we're not dropping frames, but I've seen YouTube buffer a couple of times.
Okay.
It seems to be when I start fucking doing a rant. It obviously doesn't like me making points.
Well, I'm not. These people are going along with it, like the Melvilles, the Bows, all of these people that have got this cult of personality. They're going along with it because people are holding them up. And what people need to do is hold themselves up, right? These people are no more important than you. I'm no more important than you. John's no more important than you, or John maybe, but. I'm joking.
But the point, and I think the point that you make, Ben, is valid, that we never tell people what to do, right?
Or what to think.
We tell you what we think, right? We opine, we elucidate, we tell you what's happening, but we never tell you what to think, because we always say, make up your own mind, do your own research. Before you retweet a tweet or, copy and paste something into social media, do just a modicum of research and say, is that real,
I'll ask a question.
I get caught out sometimes. As you said, you think I get caught out by that fireman thing. You said that was 3 years old. I looked at that and I thought, that looks a bit fishy, right? So I did some research, but I couldn't find anything older than the week. And I thought, right, okay, I'll let it go. I'll retweet it because I think it's like, maybe this week's. Yeah, Suzanne's right. They are getting paid and they're all reading from a script. And what's worse, Suzanne, is it doesn't matter what channel you listen to. They're all reading from the same script. And
do you know what? Sometimes...
Hold on. They do these brilliant compilations in America where you get exactly the same thing from like 30 different channels, and it's exactly the same thing,
But
and
do you know what? Sometimes
I
was going to say, sometimes they make good points. Sometimes they make salient points. Sometimes they're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But other times, I do. Look at Adam's bloody message in the chat. But they do this, right? And they have WhatsApp groups. This is what they do. They have WhatsApp groups and they disseminate what to say and what to put out and things like that. And they're all coordinated, and these are the type of people that will be nice to your face and throw you under the bus behind your back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're also, and I'm not. I get it, because it's, for a lot of them, it's very financially viable. It is.
Well, Harold says, I wonder about those compilations. So it's time to do that. Well, you know what, Harold? I must admit, I spend about 12 hours a day digging through the news to try and give you guys something that makes sense. And see those videos I put out? I don't do them overnight, and I know maybe I'm not the best at it. They're maybe not the most accomplished, or maybe they're not the most insightful, but it's usually a good 2 weeks worth of research that goes into them. At least 2 weeks worth. Because Ben's always going, have you done that video yet? And I'm going, yeah, well, I've got the B-roll and I've got that, but I've still got the track to put down. I've still got to write the script and whatever. And then I write a script, and then I end up saying something completely different from what I wrote, because everything evolves, you know.
If we didn't practice what we preached, right? If we didn't practice what we preached, then a show with a tree-hugging lefty and a right-wing lunatic would never work.
Yeah.
And we're over 200 shows deep, right? Yeah. Just because we disagree on a lot of, and we do disagree on a lot of things.
Well, fundamentally, we come from a completely different. We come from a different background. We come from a different mindset. I think we're probably more aligned now than we've ever been.
I think so.
And that's probably as a result, not of working with each other, but as a result of each of us independently coming to terms with what's going on in the world. Because
I agree.
There is no left and right. There's no left and right.
There's only right and wrong.
There's just extremism and extremism. And really, you know, that meme thing that I did, the one and only meme I've ever made from scratch, which was a big circle that wasn't quite joined, and at this side it said left and that side it said right, because, you know, far left and far right are really no more than the Bering Strait apart, you know?
Yeah. But it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Despite his political ideology or his political background, he's my best fucking friend. I'm just going to say it.
Oh,
right?
Man.
Well, you are.
Oh.
Right? I some weeks I spend more time with you than I do with my wife.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can understand that. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? Oh, my God. You know I don't mean it, Chrissy.
Trudy says, I only watched this and Rise. Well, Rise is a very good show as well.
Rise is okay. It's better when we're on it.
Well, it's always better. Everything's better when we're on it, right? Everything.
Yeah.
But I also tend to the second channel, which is gonna. I've got 2 trips worth of content to put out on that. You know, because I'm a real person.
I've downloaded that movie.
Which one?
Trump versus the...
Oh, you Trump versus the Illuminati?
Yeah, I've got that down.
Oh wow, we're gonna have to do that, aren't we? We're gonna have to watch it. We're gonna have to review it. It looks like really shitty CGI. It looks great. But you know, we're real people, and I like to do things. I like to do childish things, and I like to do things full of adrenaline, and I like to take people along with that, because, you know, I'm not some bot reading from a script, and neither is he. He kind of, you know, resembles a bot sometimes. When I could get to him in the morning, he hasn't had enough caffeine system. He just sits there going, systems booting, systems.
The mornings. I always think the morning is the time for the serious work. I get my best work done in the morning.
I don't.
No, I know you're not a morning person, but the morning's the best time to get the serious stuff done and dusted. And then nighttime is for presenting. And I mean, I do all my videos at night, usually after 9 o'clock. If I did them in the morning, you wouldn't want to watch them. You'd be like,
that was fucking terrifying. Never do that again. Never do that again.
Wasn't that bad, was it?
Just never do it again. That's all. Sophie says, I do Russell Brand. I know he's probably paid to be there, but still interesting stuff. Well, he's paid a hefty fee by Rumble these days, isn't he?
Sophie, you allow him to sully your body?
Hello, Sophie. It's me, Russell. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you at 100 miles an hour. I'm still definitely not on drugs anymore.
I can't fucking take his mannerisms. I just can't.
Hello, it's me. It's Russell Brand.
And you know what? I've been watching. I mean, the very nature of what we do. I watch a lot of YouTube, right? And
right.
See all these videos where they cut out all the spaces and everything just runs into one thing without any. They rip my knitting. They really piss me off. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to do this anymore because this pisses me off.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them have fucking soundtracks that are they're not background music, that's for sure. It's like a fucking score to a cinema's intro. And it runs all the way through the thing because it's way too loud. It's like, for fuck's sake, people, if you're trying to say something to people, make sure you can at least understand what you're saying. And I'm speaking to you, fellow YouTube creators, should you ever deign to watch us.
No, people don't watch us, John. Sometimes we're just screaming into the ether. We are like the do the old man screams at sky intro. Have you got that?
I can't. I changed it. I've changed the button. Oh no, hold on. I changed the scene. I changed the scene because I put an intro on. Did you see the intro for what's it called?
Rabbit Hole.
Yeah, look.
No, I haven't watched it at all.
Oh no, see there's the old man button. It just gives me the circle with a webcam. So
okay.
Can't do it. Can't do it just now, mate.
Okay. Harold says, which one of you is the lefty? Ben, right?
Hold on. Sorry, Harold. What do you think? No wonder Sophie's fucking laughing.
Oh dear.
Oh jeez. Right, okay. Right. Well, we haven't covered much of the news. Apart from
Even
Trump.
Suzanne seemed to be shocked the other day. She was like, "You a lefty, Ben?" I saw that in the chat like last week. You a lefty? Well, I think I'm more a centrist now.
Well, actually,
honestly speaking,
no. Tell the people what we came to the conclusion the other day. You came to the conclusion that we were actually both anarchists.
Yeah, well, we're definitely anarchists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely both anarchists. Fuck government, right?
Yeah.
I will get a shirt with the A on if you'd like.
You have a shirt with an A on.
Yeah, but that means Avengers because I'm a kid, right? Because I'm a massive child and I like comic books.
You would.
It can mean whatever you want. Vaughan says Ben is such a lefty.
Speaking of assholes, I cannot watch Ant-Man without thinking about the boys.
Go, just don't. No more. No more.
Do you remember that episode?
There's a boy spin-off show coming out, actually. That looks pretty good.
No, it was a cartoon. It was shit.
No, there's a new one set in a high school, a superhero high school.
Oh, it sounds a bit dodgy. It sounds like it might be a bit woke. Mind you,
no,
it
looks good. It looks good. I'm telling you, it does look good. Ben is such a lefty, but only by the old standards, not in today's money. Well, the thing is, this is why I like to say the left me, because I don't recognize what tries to purport to be the mainstream left right now. It doesn't share my values. And we will continue covering news in a minute, but I'm just going to read you a tweet, right? I'm just going to my Twitter profile, because there was something on... how do I go to my own fucking profile? There we go. I quote tweeted something earlier from... Adam pointed me to this group. And they seem to be like an anti-vaxxer group. Okay. Which
you know what?
Fine.
They're entitled to do what they like.
Oh, absolutely they're entitled to do what they like. But they give out this piece of advice. They tweeted out this piece of advice, and it really did concern me because obviously this is made up of doctors and stuff like that. And the tweet is as follows: this is from Shots Heard Around the World is the tweet is the Twitter account at Shots Heard. Does every account you follow represent your values? Your community will want to follow who you're following, and it can be embarrassing if that content doesn't represent you. Double check who you're following just in case.
Stay in your box.
I quote tweeted
Do
that.
not emerge from your 15-minute social media circle.
Well,
That's basically what they're saying,
that.
isn't it?
Well, yeah, I quote tweeted it and I said, why would you want every account you follow to represent your values? That is called painting yourself into an echo chamber. I follow so many people ideologically different to me. Other perspectives are not only good, but necessary. Because of course they are, right? Disagreement is necessary because you come to move forward in the world and in life by disagreeing and coming to a compromise, by hashing out what.
And that's what's so dangerous. That's what's so dangerous about what's going on in the world right now, where they are shutting down conversations. Because
it's
the
terrifying.
the EU has just asked social media, right, to censor people that openly support Russia.
What?
Yeah, the EU has asked social media companies to censor people that openly support Russia, to downgrade their tweets or posts or whatever, because they don't want an upswelling of opinion in favour of Russia. Now, that's not right. I mean, you're entitled to have your own opinion regardless of what it is. If I want to support, Fred, who has a fucking hot dog stand in Moldova or wherever that is, right? And I want to talk about him, I'm entitled to do that. And I don't want the EU or Twitter or Facebook. Yes!
From Trudy feeling the bromance love 5.
Thank you, Trudy. We love you
Trudy
too.
saying?
Get your
Hold
Easter
on,
egg
I'm just
off
gonna
that.
unmute. I'm just gonna unmute the show.
What do you mean unmute the show? What's wrong?
I want to hear whatever. You carry on.
Right, sorry. So yeah. So, right, where was I? Yeah. What the hell was I saying?
Yeah, for supporting Fred in Moldova with the hot dog stand.
Yeah. I'm entitled to say what I like. I don't want Facebook or Twitter or Google or whatever, degrading or hiding my tweets, and that's really dangerous. That's what's going on just now in the world.
It's digital. What it is
censorship.
digital. It's digital book burning, and we all know what happens when you start book burning. We all know what happens.
Yeah.
These organizations, these mobs, I don't call them governments anymore. They're mobs.
Yeah.
These mobs are tyrannical. They want to, regardless of whether or not you support Russia, and as you probably know, personally, I neither support Russia or Ukraine, right? Because I don't support governments and I don't support power mad assholes swinging their dicks around and getting people killed in the process. I'm sorry, I don't support that. Doesn't matter who's doing it.
Well, depends. It depends. See, then again, it's like you say, there are so many nuances around things. If you think about
of course.
14,000 civilians were killed by the Ukrainian government in Kiev shelling the rebels in the Donbass, right? So the Russian supporting rebels in the Donbass from 2014 to 2020 were shelled by, the Kiev-led government, okay?
So a power mad dictator swinging his dick around and getting people killed in the process.
Well, it wasn't Zelensky, it was Poroshenko.
Doesn't matter who it was.
Well, whatever, but anyway, so the government of the country was shelling part of its own country. And this happens all over the place. I mean, it happens in Syria, happened in Iraq, happens in Turkey. I mean, they do it against the Kurds, happens in Saudi Arabia. against the Yemenis and things like that. You know, it happens all over the place. The government's always, I mean, it even happens in, what, Burma? Well, it's not Burma anymore. What's it called? Ceylon or something like that? Or it's not even called Ceylon, is it? Anyway, but it happens all over the place. The government goes to fight against, you know, a rebel group. It happens in Northern Ireland, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
You know? And civilians get in the way and get killed. And the thing is, that's your own government that's killing your own civilians.
Absolutely.
Regardless of where you are. And that's not right.
No, it's not right. It's not right. And this is why I fucking hate government so much. Because they just get people killed. Ultimately, you know, they need to have a war. War's good for business at the end of the day. So there's always a war going on somewhere. There's always a war going on somewhere. It's good for business. It's good for business for the bullet makers, who are also the bandage makers usually. But Andrew Lomack says Myanmar. Burma is
right. Yeah, that's what it is. Right, so the problem you've got is there's no solution to this, because by nature we appear to be tribal, right?
Of course.
So we're going to, if things are fine and nobody's bothering us, there shouldn't be any problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when our tribe starts to run short of something and we need to get more of it, we have to go and either buy it or take it, right? And if they won't sell it for the price that we can pay, then we're going to have to take it. And then that's when we end up fighting with each other. And basically, that's the world in a nutshell. That's how it works. And you're never going to stop wars. Never. I can't see... And forget your one world government, because you've got one country governments. They can't fucking keep their own country under control. Look at France. It's burning right now. Right? I mean, look at France. So that's one country, one government, and the place is in an uproar, right? So what would a one-world government achieve? Nothing. You know, don't think a one-world government's a solution to anything. Sorry, I'm ranting again.
Trudy asks, can we do an all-in with a few of us on Zoom? Imagine
yeah, we can.
the carnage.
We used to.
Of course we can. Of course we can. If
we
you
used
want to
to
do...
that.
Well, in fact, the Thursday night slot is basically malleable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it will be down the rabbit hole. Sometimes it will be the guests. And other times we can reintroduce the phone line, if you'd like.
Oh, the phone line and or the dial-in. Yeah.
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 We
So we can. Oh God, he's been found guilty. Jesus Christ, I know this story. Suzanne says, breaking. Now a guy called David Mackey is found guilty of making memes that disparaged Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. And I believe this has happened in Florida, if you correct me if I'm wrong. Give me a second. I will research it.
See that? And this is exactly... You can't... Right, so... What's the difference... In real terms, what's the difference between showing somebody a picture in the pub and doing what this guy's done?
Well, nothing.
Nothing. It's just it's a matter of reach, perhaps, but in real terms, what's the actual difference? Nothing.
Nothing. But at the end of the day, they called it election interference, didn't they? They called it election interference.
Well,
because what this guy...
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
But there is... No, before I let you speak, because there is a video of a girl doing the exact same thing about Trump, right?
Yeah.
She did the exact same thing. She said, you know, all of you Republicans, you can just text in your vote. You don't have to go out to vote.
Yeah.
She's NYC, a New York City jury, says Suzanne. So has she been done? Has she been done? And this video, of course she hasn't. Of course she hasn't.
So Hillary Clinton is guilty of election interference.
Well, I would say that Alvin Bragg is guilty of election interference.
But perhaps,
personally speaking,
Hillary Clinton was found guilty by the FBI of election interference. It's just never been prosecuted. Because all the time that they said the Russians were helping Trump, they fucking weren't.
Well, no, they weren't. And I believe that Hillary Clinton...
Who were they helping?
At least... Well, I don't know is the answer.
No, we do.
But
we do know the FBI knows. And they said it was fucking the Democrat Party.
But I do believe that Hillary Clinton, or at least her campaign, or at least people linked to her campaign, were the ones that funded the fake Steele dossier.
Yeah.
Right? Is that not election interference?
You know what? The United States of America has, for me, descended to the level of a South American republic. You know, it's like
I was going to say it's a banana republic.
It's a banana republic. Yeah, it's a third world country.
Yeah.
As far as elections go, you should actually be sending UN peacekeepers into fucking America to police the elections. That's what you should be doing.
You see the videos over and over again of like Republican poll watchers literally being banned from watching the counts over and over again.
Yeah. Counts suddenly stopping in the middle of the night because things were going the wrong way.
And I can't say what happened because I wasn't in those rooms, right? I can't say what happened.
That's the problem. they fucking turned the lights off and turned off the security cameras. So
and then they turned the lights back on 6 hours later, and Joe Biden's 22,000 votes ahead.
It is a clown show. Suzanne's right again. It is a clown show. The whole thing's wrong. I mean,
no, I'm not.
Go on.
I can't say for sure that these elections are rigged. I can't say that. We can't say that, but we can certainly.
You can't say they aren't.
We can certainly give you the facts of the situations that have occurred and allow you to make your own decision.
Yeah, make up your own mind, people. Right.
Make up your own mind.
Where are we now? So we've done the EU piece. Have we done the EU's one? Right, here we go. I can't get my head around this.
Go on then.
So the EU is talking about sending peacekeepers into Ukraine. So how? One, they're at war, right? There's no peace treaty. There's no ceasefire. You can't send peacekeepers into somewhere that's at war. You have to wait until they finish fighting. If you send peacekeepers in, if the EU sends peacekeepers into Ukraine, who are they going to keep the peace against? Are they going to stop the Ukrainians firing? Or are they going to stop the Russians firing? And how are they going to do either? This is nuts. This is just the EU talking absolute shite again. And on the basis of that, did you see the Austrian contingent? Oh, sorry, not the Austrian contingent. The FPO party, I think. FPO party, which is a right-wing party, not far right. It's pretty mainstream right-wing, okay? They've got about they're the third biggest party in the Austrian parliament, and they all walked out when Zelensky came on screen because Zelensky's speech is an antithesis of what Austria stands for, which is neutrality. Neutrality. Yeah. Right? And to allow Zelensky to plead for assistance and for them to assist them is to ask them to break their constitution.
Well, it's not just that.
It is.
At some point.
No, that's the major thing. He's asking them to break their constitution. And only one party stood up for that right. So what's the Austrian parliament going to do now?
Yeah, Luke, we did announce this earlier on. And Trudy, Audrey Hale is something we will definitely get onto. Jesus Christ, but you're Putin is a psychopath. Let me just say that, right? They all are. They all are. No, let me continue my point. Let me make my point. And at some point, and you can see that the bear is being poked over and over and over again. And you can see that this man is getting angry, right?
Who, Putin?
And it's, yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting
Oh,
angry.
quite rightly so.
And at some point, he's just going to freely declare war on a lot of us. You know that, right?
No, I don't think he will. See, I think you might say that Putin is a psychopath, and if he is, he's the most fucking patient psychopath I've ever seen. Because
Most
this guy's
psychopaths
been
are.
doing this for 20 years. You know, if you think about it.
Psychopaths, cold, calculating.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, okay, but he's not. He's not going to turn around. When is Russia, right, as a country, which has existed since 1991, 91, right? When has Russia ever threatened the United States of America, any of the European countries, you know, the traditional European countries? I don't mean former Soviet bloc ones, right? When has he threatened any of them? When has he ever threatened the United States of America? When has he ever threatened any NATO country? Right? When has he ever threatened the UK? Effectively never, until we started poking the bear. So,
indeed,
if he's a psychopath, which he may well be, right?
Oh, he is.
If he's a psychopath, he's operating within his own country 99% of the time, right? Now, which country has had 202 military incursions on foreign soil since 1945?
The psychopath United States.
The United States of America, right?
Now, I'm telling you, anybody that wants to be the head of a fucking government, the head of a state, has to be a psychopath. Zelensky's a psychopath. Joe Biden's a psychopath. Donald Trump's a fucking psychopath, right? Donald Trump exhibits it more than most. I'm not gonna. He needs to calm down on his truthing. I would say on his tweeting, but on his truthing at the moment.
See, Trump's a weird case. You know,
Andrew, I do want to address Andrew here, because he says, I trust Putin more than anything Davos can spit out. I distrust them all equally, right? I distrust them all. And I you don't have to agree with me, but I honestly think that that is the stance that needs to be taken with these people that want to run your lives. Any of them. Doesn't matter if they're the Davos lot. Doesn't matter if they're the people at the head of your state. If they are trying to actively control what you say, do, think, where you go, what you do, distrust them.
Right? Yeah, okay. Right. So if you, and I've said this before, right? In many respects, okay, if you want a quiet life and you don't want the government to bug you too much, what you want is a benevolent dictator.
There's no such thing.
Okay, but that's what you want.
Power corrupts, man. Power corrupts.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, that's a better system to live under than the current one that we do. Because all the one that we live under just now does is promote division, promote infighting, promote fighting against your neighbour. I mean, politics is, you cannot discuss politics with anyone if they are not of the same ilk as you, unless you're very, very sensible, right? And most people aren't. Most people will not discuss politics with someone who doesn't like their politics. And I mean, I find this incredibly bizarre, right? Because
I do.
I had a discussion recently with someone who was in a well-paid job as a salesman, right? And was very right-wing.
Okay.
And then took a lower-paid job in a public sector organization, and suddenly became very left-wing.
Interesting.
And couldn't see it. You couldn't talk to them about it because they couldn't see it. They got angry. Now, why are people getting angry when you discuss politics? It's because they don't fucking know what they're talking about, and they don't understand why they feel the way they do, because they're not taking their feeling from their mind. They're taking their feelings from what they've been told by either their trade union or their party or the mainstream media or their friends. People don't use their own brains, and that's the problem. And that's why you can't talk politics with people that don't follow your particular bent. Except Ben and I can, because we have a completely different view of politics. And we've never fallen out over our politics.
Well, no, because at the end of the day, your politics, as far as I'm concerned, and this is the long and short of it, your politics don't define you, your actions do, right? Just because you might go along one kind of political slant does not mean that you are a bad person. You see, the mainstream narrative placed upon any social media, it says if you are right wing, you are evil. Right? It's always right wing evil, left wing good. I completely disagree with that notion, because I know so many decent people who are right wing and so many decent people who are left wing. It is up to how you live your lives, how you treat your fellow man, your actions in life, right? There are so many charitable, I'm going to say this. When I was doing the whole, going around with the camera and screaming where are all the, doing all the centers, all of the people that followed me were right wing for the most part, right? And I put out a GoFundMe for an extremely left wing woman who lost her job. Very good friend of mine lost her job as a tour guide. Yeah. Because of all these restrictions and stuff like that, was obliterated financially. All of those people that follow me, many of them stepped up. They stepped up and they helped her out. These are good people. And they didn't care about her politics, and she didn't care about their politics, and I don't care about anybody's politics. Right? All I see are the actions of people, and I see people who help people. I see people who treat people well.
And you're right, because politics is a construct of the system that we live in to divide us. And what's the aims of government?
Control the population and feather their own fucking nests.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what party's in. That's the aims of government. And that's what happens. And Teresa brings up a point that I've mentioned before, Switzerland, direct democracy. Yes, yes and no.
About 4 people live in Switzerland.
What?
About 4 people live in Switzerland.
No, it's not that. It's not that unpopulous. But the problem, yes and no, right?
It doesn't scale. I'm sorry, it doesn't scale.
The problem with Switzerland, I mean, you know some of the laws you have in Switzerland, Teresa. Do you know? You can't wash your car on a Sunday. You cannot move house at the weekend. Right? Now, these are just bizarre, aren't they? imagine moving into a flat in Switzerland.
Yeah, but they're bizarre to us.
Yeah, I know. But these people have fucking elected. Well, they haven't elected. They've voted as a majority. They've voted for these laws. You cannot wash your car on a Sunday, and you get fined. I'm not gonna lie to you, John.
I wouldn't want to wash my car on a Sunday. I cook a nice roast dinner on a Sunday.
Oh yeah, I know what you do, but it's like, why are there laws that govern people with such minutiae? And that's the other thing that pisses me off about what's happening in modern society. There are more and more laws getting made every day to govern us down to the slightest thing, the actual slightest thing that you want to do.
So I want to address the chat. Harold says, how do you know it doesn't scale? I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you an example. A commune, like a hippie commune, communism and all that, that works with 20 people, right? Yeah. Because 20 people, that works with 20 people because 20 people can knock their heads together and, and they've all decided to be in that situation for themselves. But when you scale that and then you place people into that situation against their will, that's when it collapses. That's when it fails. Because what do you do with the people that dissent? What do you do with the people who don't want to live like that? And then when it's maybe one person in a commune, you can probably vote to kick them out, right? When it's 100 million people in a country, you've got a bit of a problem. these things
you're-
don't scale.
You're exactly right, and that's the problem, because what we've tried to do is we've tried to scale government to the point where it runs the country, and it can't, because the country's too big to run. What you have to do is you have to break it up. And when I say break it up, I'm not saying fucking independent Scotland, because that wouldn't work either, because Glasgow needs to be run completely different, from Auchtermurchty. Right?
Yeah.
Completely different way of managing both towns. You cannot run them the same way. And that needs to be replicated throughout the UK, because you're not going to run Birmingham the same way that you're going to run, Eastbourne. You know what I mean? You just it just doesn't work. So what you need is
we need more deck chairs for the old dears. That's what we need here.
And that's great, because if that's what your people need, that's what you give them. So you need tiny government, right? Tiny government, and when I say tiny government, I mean small government managing small areas. That's what you actually need. And then you can have the federal government with very limited control over things like defence, health,
In theory, yes, direct democracy and communes are pretty much the same thing, right? It's the vote of it's the majority voting to...
People call it mob rule.
Yeah, it's mob rule. It is mob rule.
But what is democracy if not mob rule?
Well, exactly. And now I'm not saying that the Western system is perfect. It fucking isn't. It's not even good. But I will say this form of sort of capitalism that we're living through right now, up until very recently, when our governments purposely collapsed all of our economies for 2 years for no reason, it was the best we had. It was the best we had.
Yeah.
Now, I do like the Nordic system, and Teresa in the chat will probably be able to tell you more about that. I do like higher, a higher welfare state safety net versus your ability to earn as much as you like.
You pay.
I like that.
You pay for it through the nose.
Yeah, but look at the healthcare they get. Look at the healthcare they get in comparison to ours.
Well, I don't know.
Even in France, right? The healthcare system. When I'm in my dentist, right? Well, and my dentist is telling me, "Oh, you're going to France next week. If you have an issue, their healthcare system is much better than what we can provide."
Mm-hmm. Well,
you've got a problem.
Well, you know there's something not quite right when you go over to the cheese-eating surrender country, right? And their rate of heart disease is way below what the UK's is, right?
Yeah, and they do like their cheese,
and they love their cheese. They love their
They do
bread.
like their cheese.
They love their cheese, bread, wine. They drink all the fucking time. Maybe that's why their heart disease is low. They drink all the time.
Do you know what?
They're half cut from lunchtime.
Even in Disney, right? They're the only real Disney resort on earth where you can get a glass of champagne on Main Street. Yeah. You can just get a glass of champagne on Main Street from a cart.
Of course you can, because, you need a drink at lunchtime. Bloody hell. I'll be honest, right? I have never drank so much as when I lived in France.
Oh, I know.
It's just like, it was like, you spent your day half cut. And you can understand why. You can understand if anything's going to interfere with that. Yes, you are going to riot.
When he lived in France, he made a long old journey to come and find me at Disneyland Paris, didn't you, John?
I did, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when he got himself hitched up and parked up for the night, we did a show called Barry and Sudan's Grand Day Out, Grand Adventure, whatever. He was half cut by the end of it.
Oh,
he was absolutely half cut by the end of it.
It was a cracking show, though. It was when the alien facehugger descended from the ceiling. That was
bang.
We had fucking people in other RVs sounding their horns at us because of the noise we were making. You were screaming like a girl.
I know, and it's all recorded. Yeah. It's all on tape. Get it! Twist fire!
It was a joy. I really enjoyed that one.
I mean, Susan was a bit emotional then, wasn't
It was
she?
it was a good couple of days, mate. It was a good couple of days. And then
And he
remember when I went to buy your fags? And I went into the thing and I came out with the laminated sheet.
Came out with a laminated sheet of cigarettes. And that was in an Esso petrol station.
It was like buying contraband as well, because the guy gave you this laminated sheet and he's going, what ones do you want? And I goes, I'll be back in a second. Trotted out, goes, what ones do you want? Went back in, goes, this and this. And he went, okay. And then he got the keys out and went down, and then went down behind the counter, and all you hear was click, click, click. And they were rumbling about, and then click, click, click.
Here, have some cigarettes.
And then he would put the packages on the desk. It was funny.
And I don't smoke anymore.
No, they weren't for you, were they? They were for your wife.
No, they were for me.
Oh, I thought they were for your wife.
Oh, they were for me. I was smoking then, yeah. I was smoking. Actually, I'll tell a lie.
Then,
right?
That's true.
I had a cigarette this week, John.
Remember the roller skaters? Remember the roller skate dancers?
Yes, Alton Towers.
I mean, I was entranced. I was just waiting for one of them to fall over because they were awful. I mean, these girls were dancing to Aerosmith or something like that, weren't they?
It was Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses, right? Nice looking girls on roller skates dancing to Guns N' Roses and looking like they were going to break an ankle any instant. I was entranced. I'm like that.
I believe I have
stay
footage.
Upright. What?
I believe I have, or you might have. We might have some footage somewhere of that.
Oh, we might have footage.
We
We're
might.
not going to find it
did.
tonight, but we might have footage. Of
No,
that.
we may have footage of that because you know what, John? It's been a year since we went on that adventure.
I know, mate. I know.
I think another adventure is past due.
It's been
don't
a year
you?
and a half since we went on that adventure.
No, that was last March.
Oh, was that March? I thought it was
Yeah.
October.
Yeah, no, it was March.
Right, okay, okay. Oh yeah, right, okay, right. Anyway, let's crack on. Enough of this nonsense. We'll lose what they called viewers. And anyway, I noticed there's only like half the likes of the people watching.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say something, but you know, let's move on, shall we?
You know what to do, people. You know what to do.
Basically, what we're telling you with that is we are so poor that we can't actually afford the boys. So
No, the boys are us. But you don't want us.
We are now the boys.
You don't want us coming wrong. You really don't.
Don't want us turning up. No.
Because we got this. Right. Anyway, where are we?
Audrey Hale.
What about Audrey? Who's Audrey Hale?
Audrey Hale is the Nashville shooter.
Oh, right. Okay, right. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, because it has been asked for in the chat.
Yeah, okay. Right, so
there is a manifesto. Have you seen the body cam footage?
No, I haven't. To be honest, I really didn't want to watch it.
So the police have released the body cam footage of them neutralizing, shall we say, Audrey Hale.
Yeah. Her,
yeah.
Whatever.
It is her.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's quite harrowing.
I don't really want to. I take no pleasure in watching people getting killed. No, I agree. You know, either way, right?
I will praise the police in their swift response.
Makes a change, right? After, definitely, that's true. But
after Uvalde, the police here, they're straight at the door, key in, and they are covering every room as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And it's done within 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I
don't understand. I don't understand what. I did a lot of research into gun violence in the US. I think before I even met you, Ben, actually.
Right.
Did I ever mention it to you? No.
Carry on, though.
No, right. So I did a lot. So if I've never mentioned it to you, I obviously did it before I met you. I did a lot of research into gun violence in the US, and I worked out that there's a big problem in America that I can't understand. Because there's nothing to account for it. Because there are a lot of guns in America, and there are a lot of shootings. Okay. There are a shitload of guns in Canada, and there were not a lot of shootings. Right.
Yeah.
So there's a shitload of guns in Switzerland, and there's not a lot of shootings. There's a fucking ton of guns in France, and there's not a lot of shootings. I mean, some estimates are saying there's 20 million firearms in France in private ownership. 20 million firearms. There's only a population of 60.
Okay.
So if you take off the kids, right? So let's say 20% of that is kids, or well, would it be 20% or 30%? But anyway, let's just say 20%. So 20% of that is 12 million. So that takes you down to what, 48 million people. That's over half of them have got a gun, probably. Right? There's a shitload of guns in France. A shitload. And there's a shitload of unlicensed guns in France. And there's not a lot of shootings. Not a lot of shootings at all.
Yeah.
Right? There's a shitload of guns in the UK.
Yeah, well, in private
shootings.
ownership as well. Yeah,
in private ownership, there's a shitload of guns.
And you can have a license for several types of firearms, like handguns and stuff. Not so much.
No handguns, but rifles and shotguns. Yeah. So, and there's a shitload of guns in Germany, and in fact, there's a shitload of guns in most of the European countries. Not a lot of shootings, right?
Yeah.
But America it's a big stick out. What's wrong with the American psyche? Where is the problem?
Honestly, I don't know. But what I will say is this. They have not released Audrey Hale's manifesto, right? There is a manifesto. They have not released it.
Right.
What I am finding particularly egregious about this entire scenario, this entire situation, remember, this woman killed 3 9-year-old children. This woman killed 3 adults. And it was her old Catholic school, right? Now, this woman identified as he/him, was transgender. What I am seeing from the mainstream media, and even the New York Post are doing it, right, is them focusing on this and trying to say that this person, she felt that she couldn't be accepted as trans, and this is why she did it. Fuck off.
No.
Right?
No, it's not acceptable.
Fuck off. I've got a 9-year-old. A 9-year-old, right? There are 3 sets of parents right now who have lost their 9-year-old children. 3 sets of parents. And you know what? They couldn't give 2 shits whether or not Audrey Hale felt like he or she or whatever they want to call themselves was being looked at properly as their identified gender. They care about the fact that their children are dead. And then you see these mainstream media, they're trying to humanize this monster that murdered 3 children. I don't care what gender they want to identify as. What I care about is what they did.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get fucking assholes like Madonna going to Nashville. She's going to Nashville to do a benefit concert for transgender people. Not for the families of the victims.
At the risk of seeming politically incorrect, I don't understand this whole transgender thing that's come to the fore. It just seems to
I don't understand why it has anything to do with the murder of 3 9-year-old children.
It's not even that. It's overwhelmed everything. Everything's about fucking LGBTQ blah, 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 right? Everything is about that. It's either about that or it's about colour, right? These are not the biggest problems in the world right now, people. These are not the biggest problems. So what the fuck is going on? Why are people focusing on the minutiae when that's not what we need to be focused on? We need to be focusing
because it's enough.
They need to be focusing on whether we're going to fucking go to World War III. That's what the big problem is. It's not climate change. It's not who you're fucking, right? It's not whether you want to cut your dick off or whatever, right? That's not the big problems in the world. The big problems in the world are we going to blow ourselves up? That's the problem.
Now, what pisses me off, right? What pisses me off is it's so, in my eyes, and people can disagree with me, but that's the great thing about this show, people can disagree with me. It's so evidently clear that this rise in politics of identity or identity politics or wokeism or whatever you want to call it is another carrot and stick for us to beat each other with. It's another way to keep us distracted, to get groups of people to face off against one another over something. You have a race issue. You have...
So what you're saying is it's basically...
You have
it's basically government aim number one. Control the population.
Yeah, if we are fighting each other, we are not looking at the people who are doing us harm.
Yeah, that's true. It's a distraction. And Suzanne's
It is a distraction.
It stops you taking to the streets.
And there are other people there are other people who would disagree with me on this, right? I don't give two shits what gender you identify as. I don't care. I hope you go and live your best life. It doesn't bother me, right? I do agree that single-sex spaces should remain as single-sex spaces if people wish for them to be. If you really want to solve that issue, I say create a third space where anyone can use it if they wish to, right?
Well, so, fine if you want to do that, but you know what?
In fact, Disneyland Paris, right? I will give Disneyland Paris credit where credit is due. They are currently running a trial over in Discoveryland with free toilets.
Right. Hold on. France, this doesn't compute for France, okay?
Right?
Because I've been camping in France in the 80s. Okay? So I went into a campsite.
You've been camping in France?
I camped in France. I wasn't camp. I camped in France. So I'm in France. I set up a tent. Me and my girlfriend, we put a tent up. We go to sleep. We get up in the morning. I went down to the shower block. I walked in with my shower towel and shower gel and all that, or shampoo it would be in those days. Shampoo and soap, because we didn't have shower gel in the 80s. So I walked into the shower thing and thought, hold on a minute, there's women in here. So I thought I'd gone in the wrong side. So I turned around, came out, went in the other side. I thought...
Back into the same block, didn't you?
No, it wasn't the same block. It was two halves, right? But I thought, hold on, there's women in here too. And there's a guy taking a piss in a urinal. And I thought, oh, what's going on? And then I walked back out, walked back round, and there's urinals in both of them. The French don't give a fuck.
Well, at the same time, right?
They never had any demarcation in the first place.
But at the same time, if people wish to maintain a single-sex space, I don't see an issue with that.
I don't see a problem.
I don't see. But like I say, they're running a trial currently in Disneyland Paris where they've got a men's toilet, a women's toilet, and an anything goes toilets.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And it's the same with sports, right? If we really want to solve this debate and raging on in sports, just create a third category.
There's no, in my mind, there is no debate, right?
If
you were born male, you're a man. If you were born female, you're a female. You cannot compete in the other person's sport. It's just not fair. A 25-year-old man, right? Sorry. You're at your peak of physical strength when you're 25. A 25-year-old woman has the same physical strength as the average 65-year-old man. That's the differential, and you might not think it to look at it, but that is the differential.
So
men are massively stronger than women generally.
On average, yeah.
Yeah.
On average.
Yeah. I mean, there's always exceptions, but men are massively stronger than women, and it's not fair to pit women against men or men against women. And look at the damage that's been done to female rugby players in particular, with men competing as transgender women.
Well, same with UFC, right? Same with UFC. That if a trans woman, we'll call it, enters a fight with a woman, generally always fucks them up beyond anything they've ever felt.
You can't do it. The fucking physical strength thing is, you can't avoid that. You cannot avoid
It's
it.
It's not just the physical strength, but remember, you're being hit with denser bones.
Well,
Right? Bone
everything's,
density.
everything's different. Look at the side of our foreheads, right? They slope back
Yes.
and they're
Speak
lower
about
than
yourself.
women's, right? Because they're meant to
speak for
fucking headbutt people. They're there as a weapon. A woman's is not. Men are designed to kill people. That's what they're designed to do. They're the aggressor, they're the predator, they're the hunter, right?
And that's why when you
men have got binocular vision and can see better in the dark than women. That's why women can't drive at night. And I'm not being misogynist. Women cannot drive at night. You get in a car with a woman, right? Put her in a country.
I learned to drive at night.
What? Put her in a
learned to
country
drive at
lane,
night.
right? With no lights, and she will slow down. Women cannot
That is
drive
also
at night.
true. But Harold's correct there.
Yes,
That women can see
women
better in
have
peripheral.
fantastic peripheral vision. That's why you never catch a woman looking at a guy, because she just checks him out with her peripheral vision. She's fucking still checking him out. You just don't catch her.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. We are getting through it tonight. This we really are. Dreadeye and Julie C say same as the unisex showers at Glastonbury Festival. Well, I'll tell you, I used to frequent a nightclub in London, in Farringdon, called Fabric. Right, it's an underground nightclub.
I am. I know.
And all the toilets are unisex.
I'm gonna have to. All this talk of toilets is making me. I'm gonna have to go to the toilet. Do you want me to put an intermission on?
No, I'll talk to them.
Right, you talk to them. Good lad.
I'll talk to the. I'll talk to them.
You know that you full screen. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Well, I am absolutely fucking gorgeous. That's why. Jesus, Trudy, you're absolutely right. Let's get him a catheter. Let's do it. Let's get him a crowdfund. I'll start a GoFundMe. Let's get John a catheter. Right, we do have to remember the boy is 104 years old, right? So he is doing well. He's doing well for that. So what are we doing? Let's go to the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying. Sophie says unisex, better words. Harold says an intermission, just a photo of a urinal. Please stand by. That might actually be good. I might actually steal that idea from you. Sophie says, Ben, did you see that piece of legislation I sent you regarding the CRISPR in food? I have not looked at it yet. It is something that I am going to look at. I've just been away, so I've not been able to do much. I only got back late this afternoon, and then I had to beautify myself for you wonderful people, you know, because this doesn't happen like when I get out of bed. This is work. This takes work, you know. I bath at least twice a day, and people don't understand it, but I like to be clean, and I like to relax as well. And if we ever do make any money from this, yes, I will be putting the baths on the clock. So I will be bathing, and I'll be making an income for doing it. So Andrew says, reminder to pay TV license, they're hard up. TV license? Don't know what that is. Suzanne says, they are all inverted, the people put in front of us. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I'm put in front of you, and I think I am the epitome of alpha Chad male. I'm not. Don't worry, I'm not. Trudy says, OnlyFans. Oof. Should we start one? I mean, I do have one that's for Lego people, as I've told you before. It's my piss take OnlyFans. But we could start one. And there we go. Look, the 104-year-old boy is back. He has done his business. He has done his duty.
Yeah.
He has returned.
I used to feel bad about it, but I don't anymore.
That's because I can talk.
Yeah, I know you're accomplished.
Yeah, we were just talking about how beautiful I am.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did feed you that when I left.
I mean, I did tell them. I'm now up to 2 baths a day, right?
2 baths a day.
Yeah, I have 2 baths a day now. Yeah.
My God. Are you
And I did
milk
tell them
yet?
if we ever make an income from this, I am putting the baths on the clock. I've told them.
Yeah, well, you've. Oh, to be fair, people, he said it from day one. He said it from day one that this is part of his preparation and it needs to go on
It
the
is.
clock.
It does. It does. You know, like I said, this takes. I've got to re-dye my roots though, because they are growing out. So I've got to
You
re-dye
can't
my
really
roots.
see it on the camera. How am I looking? Am I looking okay? My hair
John,
actually
you
doesn't
look
look too
absolute-
bad.
John, you look
It's
stunning.
it's a bit sticky uppy here. But
John.
yeah.
Never doubt yourself. You look amazing.
Thank you, Ben. Right.
You are a beautiful, delicate flower.
Right. There's a couple of things we need to cover. Okay.
Right.
We need to cover what's going on with Zelensky.
Do we?
Yeah, no, we do, because things aren't quite right. There appears to be cracks in the narrative. So, first of all, he had an interview. He had an interview with Japanese television.
Right.
And he kind of admitted that they were running out of ammunition.
Well, yeah, that's quite obvious. That's why he keeps asking people for stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, come on.
He also had an interview with somebody on a train, some network journalist on a train.
Right.
And he's kind of saying things like, he's been sent equipment that doesn't work. And they know the equipment didn't work when they sent it to him.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
And then been
Right.
said, he's been told not to send the Western tanks to the front. Now, all the Western tanks at the moment are in the west of Ukraine, which is nowhere near
Right.
where the fighting is.
Yeah.
So any tanks he's got from Germany or Spain or Italy or whatever are all sitting in the west, nowhere near the fighting.
Okay.
And he's saying he's been told not to send them to the front. Now, there's two things there. One, Sunut saying, I'm going to send you depleted uranium shells, is just fucking painting a massive target on those tanks. Because the Russians won't want them using those tanks, because depleted uranium will just pollute the soil. It'll pollute the surrounding countryside. It causes. I mean, just go and have a research, people. If you don't believe me, if you doubt me, just have a look at depleted uranium and Iraq, and look at the birth defects that it starts throwing up, because you really don't want that on your doorstep. And you can understand why. If I was a Russian, I would just put a big target on them and go, if that's a leopard, take it out by any means necessary. That's what I would say. Because you don't want it firing shells. I mean, the Russians stopped using depleted uranium in the year 2000 because of the ecological problems with it.
The Russians caring about the environment?
Well, why wouldn't they? Because Russia's a fucking huge country. And most of its countryside. Don't you want to keep your countryside
true.
pristine?
That's true.
Wow, that's loud.
Okay.
That's very loud. Oh, she blew me fucking ears off there, John.
It's not up loud, but well, what about that? Putin!
Fucking hell!
Right, I tell you
Right,
what.
can we stop talking about this stuff now? I want to end on a high, because we are coming to the end.
Oh, we're not ending yet, are we? Well, there's a couple
gonna
of things.
end, but-
A couple of things I want to cover, right?
Hmm.
So you know the US are stirring things in the Pacific by this AUKUS agreement, the submarine thing with Australia and all that shit, and the US. And I'm going to do a video on this coming next. The US and their Pacific motivations. But the Russians were test firing missiles in the Barents Sea, just north of Japan.
They were. Yes.
Right. Xi just spent 3 days in Moscow,
Yes.
and Putin wasn't asking him for arms, was he?
No,
No. What was happening?
you tell me.
Xi was ensuring Russia's support if something starts going down against Taiwan. That's what Xi was
You
doing.
mean everything that I predicted back when this first started on this show?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much a joint prediction, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I actually said, I believe, if I remember correctly, I said something along the lines of Xi Jinping's looking at what Russia is doing in Ukraine and then taking a look at Taiwan and going, I want to do that.
I want some of that.
I want some of that.
That's like when someone phoned up and said your chicken balls were very rubbery, and the Chinese restaurant said, "Thank you very much."
Do you know what? In that reminds me of not this week's episode of South Park. This week's episode of South Park have done Andrew Tate, by the way. You should go and watch that.
Oh,
It's pretty funny. They don't call him Andrew Tate, but they call him a Romanian sex trafficker, and he's absolutely drawn as Andrew Tate. Anyway, last week's episode of South Park, the kids started a hot dog stand which they called Dick in Bars. Just so that they could get the newsreader to say Dick in Bars on TV.
So yeah, well, I tell you what. The only other thing I'll say about Ukraine is, if you want to get what I think is reasonably impartial news from or about Ukraine and what's happening, is go to Hindustan Times. Believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Indians are reporting in a fairly impartial way. They maybe favour the Russians a little bit, but they seem to. I mean, they were reporting on today's body count, if you will, and they were saying 500 Ukrainians dead, 92 Ukrainian units, i.e., armored vehicles, tanks, howitzers, all that kind of stuff, wiped out. So that's a lot. Russia has turned the wick up ever since the UK said we were sending depleted uranium. They really have. And if Sunak wanted to achieve that, then great job. Great job, Sunak.
It's going back to what I said earlier. They're poking the bear so much that the bear is going to poke back. And they know the bear is going to poke back.
Yeah, of course.
They know it.
Yeah.
I'm just having a look over on Rumble at the minute, and my eyes are shit. But not non-senseis pretty much agreeing with us throughout all of this. So hi there and thank you. And Sophie says, I've come over from YouTube. Sound is better. If you haven't subscribed to us on Rumble, which is where we are concurrently streaming at the moment, in case anything does happen over on this YouTube channel, you can see the link in the little donation blurb that's in the chat right now. At the bottom, it says you subscribe on Rumble at rumble.com/c/Chasing Dissent Official. And we really appreciate your subscription over there as well, because obviously if we are not streaming here and we have not announced that we are not streaming, then we will be live over there. So always worth it.
So that's interesting, because according to YouTube's stats for nerds, right, we are sitting at 100% for volume, and that means YouTube
there's something wrong with YouTube tonight.
Yeah, YouTube should not be adjusting our sound at all.
And Harold has just said hi over on Rumble, so he's jumped over there. So make sure you subscribe to us over there. So hi there, Harold. Andrew says dollar is as popular as clap in a knocking shop right now.
The dollar's right. So this is a big problem, people. And do not underestimate this, because the problem is the dollar is losing ground, is losing money, and it's losing currency in that people are stopping using it to trade for oil. Now, the American economy is built on the petrodollar. And the problem is when you have a superpower, which we only have one, right? When you have a superpower and it starts to feel the pinch because nobody's buying its currency because it doesn't need it to trade for things with other people, then you're going to start seeing it thrashing about desperately, trying to install freedom in people.
We're going to bring you some freedom.
Yeah, and you know, it's not a pleasant thing to watch because America is really struggling, and this is the death throes of a superpower because America can't cut it anymore. It can't keep up with Russia's production rates for ammunition. France has doubled its production rate for 155mm shells. Did you know that, Ben?
I did not.
It said they're going to double our production rate and we're going to give Ukraine double what we do just now.
Oh, wow.
So at the moment, France gives Ukraine 1,000 shells a month and they're going to give them 2,000. Okay, so
fantastic.
with Ukraine firing 6,000 shells a day, that will last half the morning. Great job, France.
Right.
And meanwhile, Russia's sending 60,000 shells back every day.
John.
Ben.
John. I would like to start bringing it down, but I want to laugh.
What do you want to talk about then? What have
I
you
don't
got?
know. What have you got? What have you got that's going to make me and us and everybody else smile? If you've not got anything that's going to do that, then it's time to free roll.
Well,
right?
free roll. Let's just free roll.
It's
What
time
do
to
you
free
wanna talk
roll
about?
because, well, I'm going to get a little bit sentimental for a minute because this is actually one of the most viewed shows we've ever had over on YouTube.
Cool.
And you know what? We're not a huge channel. We're not a huge channel. But we really do appreciate every single goddamn one of you that come over and laugh with us and react to the news with us. And, you know, I made that point that earlier on Twitter where I said, basically, it's going to be John catching me up on the news and me saying, for fuck's sake. And I think that's basically how this show has gone, except for a few things.
It's pretty much how our show's always going, to be fair.
Yeah. It's pretty much how our show's
That's the format. That's the format. I keep you in the dark and then feed you little bits. You're my little mushroom. I keep you in the dark and then I feed you little pieces of shit. That made you laugh, right? Did that make you laugh?
Oh, dearie me.
So this clown Lomax, who's in our chat, right?
I like Andrew.
Yeah, I know. So he I think it was him that said maybe we should have a weekend thread about the cars we have owned.
No, it wasn't him, but he is trying to make me drink Buckfast live on stream.
Yeah, was it not him and Dan? Dan, what's his name?
Dan Collins, yeah.
Yeah, was not him and Dan Collins. I thought it was Andrew that suggested we have a thread about the cars we've owned. And I started counting them up in my head, and when I got to 33, I thought, for fuck's sake, how many cars have I had?
I've had 4.
Yeah, I know. I think I've had 33, an RV, and 12 motorbikes.
You have 33 cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started
You are
with a
car
Citroen,
mason.
Citroen GS Palace. Right? Then I had, because my dad gave it to me because he bought a new car when he retired from the Navy. So I, at 17, had a Citroen GS Palace and used to go to school in it.
Right?
The 80s were cool. In fact, that was actually the late 70s, 79, I think.
I was going to say, in the 80s, you were still 50.
No, I wasn't. Fuck you. Then I had then after the Citroen, I had a Morris Marina Coupe, or Coupe as I used to call it, which cost me 20 quid, which did take me to London and back for the princely song.
Before it died, yeah.
Yeah, it lasted about 6 months, which wasn't bad. And then I kind of went into motorbikes for a while. So the Yamaha DT175 trail bike, and then which I used to ride up and down the stairs into the garden. And then I had an XJ550, which was like a pocket rocket ship. It would do 120 mile an hour, which wasn't bad. And then I went back into cars and did that when I had my Opel Mantas. Oh, they were lovely cars.
Oh, I've had 5 vehicles actually.
Yeah, I had 2 Opel Mantas. I liked my Opel Mantas.
I mean, I started with a Volkswagen Polo, right? Lovely car, lovely car. I then moved on to a Volkswagen Golf Mark 7. Absolutely mind-blowingly fast when you put it in sport mode, right? I then moved on to a Golf SV, which is like the boring dad version of the Golf.
Right.
It's slightly bigger. It's the family people carrier.
Yeah.
I'm currently rocking a Volkswagen Charan with a flappy paddle gearbox.
Okay.
Right? I do have some fun with that on a motorway. And my 5th vehicle is a Pride Go-Go Elite Traveller Plus that does a maximum of 4 miles an hour.
Oh, there you go. I forgot I had an Escort Mark II before I had the Opel Mantas. Ford
Opel
Escort.
don't make cars anymore, do they?
What?
Do Opel still make cars?
Yeah, it's just Vauxhall in Germany. Always has been. If you buy a
Volkswagen
Vauxhall in Germany, it's
is
called an Opel.
Oh, Vauxhall.
So yeah, it's just a Vauxhall. So I had an Opel. I had the Ford Escort Mark II, then I had the Opel Manta, then the second Opel Manta, then I had a Triumph 2500S, which was
that car
unbelievable. Yeah,
Triumph made cars.
Oh yeah. Jesus used to drive a Triumph. It's in the Bible.
Continue.
He came down the hill in his Triumph.
Just fucking list the cars, John.
Right, so after,
keep going.
After Triumph, then I had Toyota Corolla, which didn't last long at all. It fell apart. Japanese tin worm. Then I had a Escort 1.6 Gia Mark II. Then I had what the fuck did I have after that? Then I had another. Did I have another Opel Manta at that point? Then I had. Then I had an Opel Ascona, right, which is kind of a Vauxhall Cavalier except German, right. After the Opel Ascona, I had a Austin Montego Estate, right. Then I had a Volkswagen Jetta, right.
That's a good car.
Well, it's just a Golf with a boot.
Yeah,
it's basically just a Golf with a boot. So Volkswagen Jetta. Car. Then I had after the Jetta.
I must interrupt you because Harold says Greta has entered the chat.
Oh, so after wait, hold on. Where was I after the Jetta? I would have gone. Oh, then I went back to bike. I had a BMW K75S. Then I had an FJ1200 Yamaha. Then I went back to cars and had. Then I had a Honda CR-V, a Renault Clio, a Vauxhall SRI, a Vectra SRI.
He likes his Vauxhalls, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I did at that point. Then
he likes his Vauxhalls.
A Jeep 4 litre, high output 4 litre, 225 brake, not bad. Then I had another Vauxhall Vectra. Then I had a Mercedes 230 SE.
Interrupting, John has had a lot of fucking cars. Right? On that
I'm only halfway through.
I don't give two shits. Right? It is time to end the show. It is time to leave them. It is time to give them, leave them wanting more. If you want to hear more about John's cars, you can join us at 8 p.m. on Monday. That's 8 p.m. on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Love and thank you to each and every one of you. If you've not subscribed on Rumble, please go and do that. And obviously, only if you can afford it, please consider becoming a supporter at either Patreon, patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or Ko-fi, ko-fi.com.
And if you are a supporter, we love you. We really do. We really appreciate it. And I'm not just spinning your yarn. We really do appreciate it.
No, we do. We appreciate every one of you regardless. We appreciate the likes, the views, the shares, the retweets. We appreciate the interaction in the chat. We love talking to you just as much as I hope you love listening to us. And, you know, we have some salient points. We make you laugh. We can embarrass ourselves. I might do another music show soon. It's been a while. So I might sing you a few songs in the coming weeks. What?
I can't tell you. It's going to be a surprise.
For when?
Well, for some point in the future.
I'm concerned.
You know, you'll like it. You'll like it. It's not bad.
I'm very concerned.
It's not bad.
Seriously concerned.
No, don't be concerned. It's fine. So
on that note, because I've got to get in the house and set up the other thing within the next 3 or 4 minutes, John.
He's desperate
Time,
for his
John!
little fix.
I've been away for a week. I need my fix.
I've not even been on.
I need my fix.
Right, people. We love you. Take care. Look after yourself. And with that, thank you for attending this Chasing Dissent live, all in, Friday night.
Episode 26.
Episode 26. It's been great.
For you.
For you.
You can see the writing on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always, they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of the older generation. Too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.